What is going on? What do you mean? Basically gambling. The real alien base is in Antarctica.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Fire and Rice podcast, Reheated, episode 4, I think.
Episode 4. Yes, we are on episode 4 of our podcast. Woo!
Woohoo. I'm Jack.
Oh, yes, I'm Jenna.
I feel like there's a lot to talk about.
Yes, so much.
I think it's been a while. I'll give my update of what we've been up to. I think probably the most notable thing is we've been playing a lot of the new Zelda game, and that's pretty much been taking up all of our time. Been playing pretty much every day and putting in at least, I would say, at a minimum, like in 2 hours a day, easily, like every single day. I don't think we've skipped a day since it came out. And on the first day, we played like 8 hours straight, 8 or 9 hours. And yeah, we've been pretty much just doing that. So I really have no updates, but I feel like there's also been, other stuff going on. So I'm just curious to hear what's been happening.
On our side, we've just been playing Pokemon Puzzle League every single day, just trying to get better at it. Jared's really good at it. He plays on very hard, like the level.
I would like to see Jared against Michelle, because
Really? Did Michelle
Michelle's
get
the one
really
that's
good
been
at
playing
it?
So before Zelda, that was what she would play like every day.
Wow.
She would be putting in hours. So Jared's on very hard, and I guess the one after that
is like
super
super
hard.
hard.
Like
yeah.
S hard. Yeah, I don't know really, but it's V hard, then it's easy, like medium hard, V hard, S hard. And she's on S hard right now.
Yeah, I've only made it to hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jared's really good at it. So Dad and I always really struggle against him. And then Dad and I are pretty much at the exact same level. So
Yeah. That'd be an interesting one to do, I think, because I think they would be good match for sure, because even she's beating me.
Yeah, you're really
play,
good at it, right?
I used to be. I mean, it's been a while. I know that it helps that she plays, like, she was playing so consistently that her eyes were like trained to see everything in advance, whereas like for me, I just feel like mechanically I can move the buttons quick enough, but my eyes haven't like figured it out just yet. So
right, like calculated it out in advance.
Yeah.
I go to sleep like after we play, I close my eyes and I just see like the puzzle and I see the different like combinations I could form. So it's been a good brain teaser and good brain strengthening game.
Yeah, we find ourselves just humming the music a lot, just around the house and stuff.
Yeah, well, I've gotten really into the album, the To Be a Master album and the songs, because I used to think, oh, those are just the Pokemon Puzzle League songs. I didn't know that they were the actual songs from the show.
Yeah, there are a few that are from the show and like also from the game.
My other obsession has just been Pokemon, period. I think in the last month since we last spoke, I was watching Pokemon every day. So, big Pokemon stan.
Yep, that makes sense. I mean, I think it's one of those where it's one of those games where most times you can just like pick it up again, and it's not like you're like some games you stop playing, you pick it up, and you're like, where was I? What was going on in the story? Like, what does my team look like? What are my stats and stuff like that? Versus Pokemon's like, you can just pick it up at any time and just remember what you were doing, because it's not complicated. It's not like the most complicated thing to be playing, but it's a really fun one to just put time into because there's a lot of exploration and stuff.
Yeah. It's kind of like Animal Crossing in that way, but I feel like Pokemon you can play like longer.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, because I remember at least when we did play Animal Crossing, it felt like there was a set amount of things you had to do per day.
Mm-hmm.
Like you had to get all of this done. You had to do all these chores. Once you were done, then it's kind of just, if you wanted to keep playing, you could, but you kind of usually felt like, okay, I'm good to just stop here. Versus Pokemon, it's so endless, or it can be endless. it feels endless, at least enough to where you can like just, oh, I'm doing one thing, I finished that, and oh, here's another thing I need to do.
Right. And the goal of the game is just to like beat a bunch of Pokemon. You can just keep
Be the
battling. Yeah,
best.
just be the best. But another game that's like Animal Crossing is Disney Dreamlight Valley.
I've been hearing a lot about this. I've been seeing a lot about it, and I know like at the time of recording, like 2 days ago, there was a really big update for the
Okay.
game. So
Okay, I think I need to restart the game or just jump back into it now or buy my own separate one because Dad and I were playing it together on the main Switch. And
uh
well, Dad and I were gonna make a character that was androgynous. That was the mix of the both of us. And then Dad was getting mad because he was like, "It's supposed to be androgynous. It looks too much like a girl." So then we just made it look like Dad, and he was like, "See, that's perfect."
oh my
So
god.
it just looks like Dad. So I'm like, now I just want to get my own so I can just make my own character. But because it
Right.
was like in its beginning stages of development, there were a lot of bugs and issues and I couldn't progress in my goals because it says meet Remy the rat and you go in to go meet him and he's gone. And then you like
Mm,
leave and then you're like, okay, well maybe I'll go to his house and he's there at his house but he's not at his restaurant. But you need to like go to the restaurant to see him to start the mission, but you can't.
my friend, he was saying that his girlfriend, who doesn't play like any video games and wasn't like into video games at all, he like introduced the Disney Dreamlight Valley to her, and she like loves it. And that's like the one game that she's been actually really into, but she was never a gamer before. But she
Oh,
just loves,
interesting.
like, yeah, I don't know. So like it's nice because for him being the gamer, it's like, oh cool, I got to introduce her to something that, you know, is kind of part of my world, my realm of gaming and stuff. But yeah, and then a couple of streamers that I follow still like they've been playing it, so I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm glad to hear that there's a big update and that they're vamping it up. Hopefully the game mechanics are better because I do want to get into it. It was a fun game and it's a fun concept because you get to just fix it's almost like Epic Mickey in the way that it's oh the world is it's the forgottening, everyone's going to be forgotten and it's this demented Disney world and it's your job to fix it. And so that was the concept of Epic Mickey, although Epic Mickey was like really scary. So
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's been an interesting theme too. Something that we've noticed is like in playing through the newer Zelda game, we were like, why is it a little bit scarier? Like it feels like games are, which is a good thing, I think.
oh yeah, I
It's
think it makes
like,
it more interesting.
yeah, you know, some games just have been a little bit darker than expected, but it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, and I think especially with a storyline like how Disney likes to make their stuff all bright and happy, it's interesting to see the contrast when it's all dark and scary.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yep. So that's gaming. I also I always have the Kim Kardashian game on my iPhone and it just sits there. So yesterday I just opened it up for the first time.
Huh.
and and you know, with those kinds of games, I feel like you can only play them for like 10 minutes and then just put it down for the day because I'm like I get frustrated with games where it's like in order to succeed, you need to pay actual money.
Yeah.
And so then I have to tell myself, no, it's not my problem that I don't want to spend money. It's that this game is flawed and that it's asking for money.
Right. Yeah.
That's
We
not a
call
good
that
game.
pay to win
Pay
in
to win.
yeah, pay
There
to win.
yeah, there's another app out there where it's like in order to get the special options, you have to give this many diamonds, but in order to have that many diamonds, you need to pay money. And then me being like, well, it's only like $2.99, but then you keep spending $2.99 over and over and over again. And then I'm like, well, at that point, I'm not even working hard to win the game. All I'm doing is just paying to get the special outcomes.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's a huge market for that for sure. It's definitely a very known thing. Yeah, pay to win. I think that's always a funny topic in games,
But the
um,
psychology of it works. It guilts you. Because there was a part of my game where it was like, oh, let the other people think that you're a meanie or stick up for them for 10 gems. And I was like, oh, well, I don't want them to think I'm a bad person, but these people aren't real. But somehow I was like, I'll give the 10 gems.
I mean, there's an entire like genre right now of games that, I mean, not just right now, but that are definitely popular right now though, around paying for those types of things, paying for gems, paying for but those end up paying for a chance to get a character in the game that you can play as. And essentially what it boils down to is it's basically gambling. you're you're paying money
Oh,
to
yeah,
open a
that's
mystery
true.
box to get a character, and that in itself is not gambling, but it is
It is.
gambling, and that's how they can get away with it from a legal standpoint. But those games make so much money, it's insane. Even though there's like the free to play model of like, oh yeah, you could just keep playing the game and eventually you'll get enough to be able to open the mystery box. But it's, you know, that there's just people out there that are just swiping so that they can get the characters faster, stronger, better, all of that. And they make so much money, those companies.
See, that is manipulation. That is studying human beings, knowing how they're going to be, knowing that they will
Oh yeah.
fall for it because I fall for it, you know? But, like, at least with mine, it's a guaranteed win, not like a guessing to win.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I mean, end of the day, it's if you have if I mean it all comes down to if you can afford to do it, then
I was going to
spend
say,
the
I
money you
think
want.
that
Spend your money the way you want to, but it can
yeah,
become a problem.
if
But
one
still,
day I have like so much money, just billions of dollars, and I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? But for now, I'm gonna have to refrain from playing those kinds of games.
yeah, yeah, it's an interesting one.
Yeah. Oh, and it's so easy because it's just a tap away. It's just a
It
click
is.
away. It's so easy. Just give your
Yep.
money.
So the other big thing that happened, I guess, I mean, it's funny because I saw that you sent to the family text message the alien story.
Yes.
The reason that's funny is because I went in to get a haircut
You
and my
saw it.
barber.
Oh.
No, I wish I did. My barber, he comes in. I sit down in the chair. Hey, how you doing, man? Hey, good to see you. Yeah, what's up, man? Hey, so do you believe in aliens? I was like, dude, did you see the thing today? He's like, yeah, the Vegas aliens. I was like, bro, what is going on? What do you mean? And then we just talked about it for like, I don't know, a good half of the haircut. It was, and then everyone else in the barbershop was chiming in. Yeah, I believe. Nah, you're crazy, man. You're crazy. It was good though. I thought that was funny.
I I believe it. If you don't know, what happened was a UFO, an unidentified flying object, was seen in Las Vegas one night, and it was like glowing light greenish blue, and it fell from the sky. Well, apparently it landed in someone's backyard, and that family saw the whole thing. And according to them, they looked out and there was this haze that was preventing them from really seeing what was happening, almost like this force field of blurriness. But they were able to see 8 foot, 10 foot tall figures, long limbs, big, big eyes with shiny mouths, and that they were trying to use their, what is that?
The like tractor thing, the
Yeah,
forklift
the
thing or
forklift,
whatever.
the cat forklift machine, and then then they got back into their vehicle and then they left. Um, but that is the story that this family is saying. They called the police. The police were like, and at first they were gonna write it off, but because they also saw the flying object in the air, they were like, ooh, oh no. They're like, we have to actually report this.
Yeah, it's such an interesting story just because like the way that the timeline happened, in that the police officer has body cam footage where he can see the thing flying out of the sky, but then like minutes later is when they actually get the same, like after they see it fly out of the sky, minutes later they get a call saying, hey, you need to check something out. And it's like, okay, at that point it's like, whoa, that's pretty crazy that happened like that. But it's weird. Like I think the story, I believe in the alien part. I mean, just
Are you
generally,
skeptical
sorry.
of it?
I'm skeptical of the story, but I believe generally about aliens. So it's like, it's interesting because the beginning of the story seems so plausible. The timing of everything, it works out because it's very logically like planned out. Where they lose me is a little bit of the like, okay, they say that they're like 8 to 10 feet tall. Okay, sure, that's fine. They can be tall. The big eyes, big mouth. I'm like, that is so stereotypical.
Yeah,
they
I
even
know,
say
I
they're
know.
green and gray. I'm
Yeah, I
like,
heard that
that's
part
so
too.
stereotypical.
Yeah, me too.
And then, of course, you know, like I know that there was people saying, "Oh, well, why didn't you film?" It's like, well, true. I get that you could be in such shock, but there's got to be at some point, like, there has to be something.
What
Because,
if they wanted to, but the force field, caused them not to do that? Or what if, like, maybe if they had tried, they wouldn't be able to film it? Because,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
but that's the thing. If they at least tried and like put that out there, like, hey, look, here's our photo, and it looks like trash, but like we tried. It's because you could tell on the phone that like there was the guy reporting it, and he seemed calm and whatever, but then you could tell that there's other people there. So it's like, well, guys, do something. If I'm on the
Right.
phone, do something while I'm on the phone.
Well,
I
I
don't know.
think that they probably already left because it sounded like he was talking in past tense, like, there were people in my backyard. So maybe it all happened
see.
so quickly that they didn't have time to really react. Like, they knew the force field was
possible.
there. They were trying to comprehend what was happening. Your first thought isn't, let me record it. I think they're trying to process what it was, especially if they can't see what they're trying to look at, but they can kind of make it out. I will say that the description of them was interesting, but then I guess my only thing is, well, how did we as people come up with that in the first place? Like, what if it's because we have seen these people before for years, and it just so happens they match up to the exact same one. Now, I did watch another video earlier about aliens. This woman caught on her ring like this tiny, skinny little looking alien figure with a big head, and it was like walking around funny. Well, they were all trying to say it was her son, but then the reporter had the son like reenact it, and he did a terrible job at it. So I was like, okay, it's definitely not that kid. So if you look at the video, that looks like a creature. That looks like something like the legs are too thin and the body's too skinny to be like a person, and it looked like Dobby. Like it was, and it did like, yeah, and I don't know, maybe aliens are tiny, but maybe they are tall. Maybe there's a multitude of aliens.
You know, we'll never know. But it was just funny to me that just was so coincidentally what was the first thing basically out of my barber's mouth, and it just sparked such a conversation because I went and that was what they talked about. It was good. It was a good time. But I don't know. We'll
today?
see. That was today. Yeah.
I got a haircut today too.
Nice.
We didn't
Yeah,
talk about aliens.
Oh, well, I expected that you guys wouldn't, but yeah, no. The people at the shop, they just like to ham it up. So it was funny. They were just like going down the line, like, "Hey, do you believe in aliens? Do you believe in aliens?" And I think everybody said yes
Yeah.
to it, but I think everybody was split. I think people were split on whether or not the story made sense. But everyone at least said yes, they believe.
I definitely believe in aliens. And I do think that, like, I don't know, things fall out of the sky all the time. Things are coming to Earth. Maybe the aliens have the technology to come here and they're figuring it out. Or maybe they're working hand in hand with the government in some way. I don't know. Maybe.
Hey.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out why the government would keep it hush-hush. But then I realized, oh, yeah, like, of course they would have to, because otherwise humans would freak out. Like,
Yeah. And it's just so funny because yeah, I mean, we ended up getting into like a rabbit hole of different like conspiracy theories and stuff, and talking about how like, yeah, Area 51 is definitely just like it's a decoy for the real alien
Area
base.
52.
52, sorry, 52.
No, it's
And the real
51, but it's the decoy for Area 52.
okay. I was like, yeah, wait, I'm pretty sure I had that right. No, but he's like, yeah, no, the real alien base is in Antarctica, like 100%. It's over
Because no
there
one
because
can
no one's
live.
allowed in.
Yeah.
No one can live. No one's allowed. No one ever like. Some guy said that he was flying an airplane and he saw like pyramids in Antarctica, and I was like, bro, what are you talking about? He's like, dude, I go in the rabbit hole all the time, man. It's like my YouTube feed is messed up, bro. It's like, okay.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah. That's an interesting theory that everything's in Antarctica, which makes sense because everyone has agreed not to enter Antarctica.
I think it's not. Yeah, well, I mean, that's part of the conspiracy. It's like, is it that we just don't go because it's too cold and uninhabitable, or because there's a reason?
There's a reason why
that we aren't allowed there.
Surely we wouldn't just leave land unattended. That's no one would just do that.
That's not the human way.
That's not the human way. We like to infiltrate things.
Yes.
So that is used as a place for Santa Claus and unicorns.
Right. Yes.
And
all
mermaids,
of the mythical creatures.
They
plus
all live
aliens.
in Antarctica.
Mm-hmm.
And then they fly out of Antarctica.
Mm-hmm.
Like into space, and then they come back. That's interesting. I very much doubt that we are the only planet that has life on it. That's just stupid. Like, of our whole solar system, why would we be the only planet with
not even
life?
no, the solar system, okay, but the infinite expanse of space.
Yes, but also,
or do you think that there's creatures in the solar system, even though?
Why not? Why would Earth? I mean, I get it. Earth is like the perfect distance away from the sun, and it's like smack dab. I mean, it's not in the middle, right? It's like it's in the beginning.
Oh.
But it's
okay. Can you name the planet?
It goes.
Do you know which number planet we are?
Aren't we like 4 or 3?
3.
We're 3. Venus, Mars, Earth,
Mercury, Venus.
Wait, what?
Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars,
Oh,
Jupiter,
Mars,
Saturn,
sorry.
Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto.
And Pluto. I mean, I very much doubt that there's life on Pluto. Well, but we don't know because we're just going off of the mechanics of Earth. We don't know how the mechanics of other planets.
Oh no, we've sent like spaceships and stuff and rovers down to places, and we can take like high quality photos of planets.
Yeah, but there's no way there's no life on Saturn or Jupiter or.
Well, Jupiter's gas, like it's all gas, so it's like
Yeah, but what if on the inside, like, what if there's?
I think it's like the size of like I think the core of Jupiter is very small. I don't know, but no, but I think end of the day, like I mean, it is possible, I guess, that there could be life within the solar system, but I think there's definitely something in the infinite expanse of space. Like that's just statistically. There's no way.
There's no way.
Like, yeah.
No, we're not. We aren't alone.
We're not alone.
We're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
We've got aliens. And we are aliens to them, so.
Correct. This is true. It's all about perspective.
Yes. And they're coming to study our planet. Yes, we just went to a wedding for our cousin. Technically our mom's cousin's daughter. So technically our second cousin, if you will.
I don't know how it works. I never know.
Well, it was quite a good time. food was good. Love wedding food. Love charcuterie in the beginning of a wedding. You know, before the like after the ceremony, there's always charcuterie before the reception. And there was like a tuna sashimi on a potato chip. That was really good.
Oh, you mean hors d'oeuvres.
Oh yeah, there's hors d'oeuvres. That's right. Sorry, not charcuterie. Hors
Charcuterie
d'oeuvres.
is like meat and cheese board.
Yes.
I think.
At my other
Well, actually, I don't know if that's
yeah, it's
the
true.
definition.
At my other friend's wedding, we had a charcuterie board, a part of the hors d'oeuvres. But we just had the hors d'oeuvres, yes. I could get full off of hors d'oeuvres if someone just fed me
Of course.
hors d'oeuvres. But yeah, that was good. The dessert was good. Dancing was fun. And then afterward, me and 3 of our cousins went to get boba at the place that Dad refuses to go to because they took his money.
All right.
So,
Very good.
but it's a good place because I like the food there and I like the drinks, and it stays open till midnight. So it's a good late night boba place in my opinion.
And then after that, you guys had like a full on party the next day too.
Yes, because it was Uncle Danny and Stephanie's birthday.
Oh, okay. That's nice timing. Cool.
Yeah, that's why. So we did that. Jared made some moolah from singing karaoke.
Of course.
And they wanted me to sing, but I had lost my voice, you know, so I didn't want to sing. But yes. And then after that, I went to Disneyland with my friends for my friend's birthday. And the new ride, Mickey's Getaway Railroad, Mickey and Minnie's, is so much fun. I think it's my favorite ride at Disneyland right now.
Do they is that the one that they have in Florida currently, and then like it just finally made its way here now that Toontown got updated and stuff?
Yes, and Toontown is nice. Toontown it's updated. It doesn't look smelly anymore. It's not like gross. It doesn't look like dirty. So it's cleaned up, and it's a fun time. So I think you would like Mickey's Railroad Way. Did Michelle go on it?
No.
Oh.
She did not get a chance to, but she said that it was a good time when she went, and it was just a lot of, I mean, I think because it had been so long, like she just wanted to get as much out of it as possible, considering we don't know when we go back, like when we'll go back again. So yeah, she just rallied through a full day at Disneyland.
Got it. I think I might go to Disneyland for my birthday.
Nice.
Might. I don't know yet. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do for my 21st birthday.
Yeah, that is coming up actually, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know what I want to do. I don't want to do a tea party.
Fair enough.
Because I've had it like 3 years.
3 times
in a row. So, yeah. I love tea. I love high tea. And I think the food is really good. But I'm like, all right. Oh, maybe I could do alcoholic high tea.
I don't know if that works.
I'm not sure if they have that. I don't know. That exists somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll start it.
Thing.
Maybe I can start an alcoholic high tea place.
Business
endeavor. I'll have to put that in the back of my head.
Sure.
Put a pin in it.
I mean, it's possible. I haven't tried it yet, but there is a place close to my house that is it's weird because like from what I can tell, it's like a bar, but it's not a bar, but it's like adult, like alcoholic beverages, but it's not a bar in like a typical sense, but they like serve alcohol and like finger foods, and it's like very small and like quaint, so it almost kind of feels like if it were like tea time, but for like it's all just happy hour stuff basically. And it's just like a very small, quaint, locally owned place that I kind of want to try sometime soon, but just haven't really gotten out to it. It's really close, surprisingly, to my house, and I just haven't gone. And they just opened up, so it looks nice though.
Maybe I'll do something like that. find a wacky, not traditional bar type, not bar, alcoholic place.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. It's just I'm trying to think what I did. What did I do? We went out to. Well, I mean, I turned 21 while I was still in college, still. So there was like a street, very popular street, um, of like bars and other places that you could go to. And yeah, I mean, we just went from place to place. That's pretty much all we did. And yeah, good time.
Nice.
And also, it helped that my birthday is usually around Halloween time.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, that's true.
my birthday is like a few days before Halloween. So usually, if we're going to celebrate on like that weekend, then it always ends up being Halloween time. So, could just like go out and dress up and
You can
go
have
from
a
place to
themed
place.
birthday.
Right. Yeah. It makes it a lot easier to like combine events. And so it's not really about me, but it's about me still. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
like at the end of the day, it's like, oh, we're going out for Halloween.
Right. People are all
So,
celebrating everywhere,
right.
so you can also
Right.
celebrate your birthday.
Right.
Got it. Have you seen any ghosts lately?
Have I seen any ghosts lately? No, I don't think I've seen any ghosts. Trying to think if there's been any weird occurrences. No, I haven't
Mm.
had any weird run-ins. It sounds like you have.
Mhm.
Okay, very
We've
good.
been seeing
Tell.
ghosts and having ghosts around lately.
Consistently,
I would say consistently.
or more than one time.
We've had a few run-ins with the ghosties.
Do you think this is related to? So is this before or after seeing relatives that like to attract ghosts?
Before.
Oh, interesting.
Well,
Okay,
and
even more.
I guess after, because Mom, I guess, had another incident where she was sleeping and talking in her sleep and like yelling at someone to not take her dog and to like get away from taking her dog. But Taro was growling at someone in the corner of the room.
Oh wow!
And
Yeah,
then
that'll do it.
I guess as soon as like Mom like started like screaming at her peak, that's when Taro was like going off the most as well. And so Dad was like, "Wake up, you're having a bad dream." But Taro can see ghosts.
Okay.
This has been proven because Tater doesn't do this and Coco doesn't do this. Coco used to kind of do it when she was younger, but Taro's been doing this thing where he'll be staring at nothing, but it's like very much directed towards something. And usually when the dogs are all sensing something outside, they'll all go off. But
Right.
Taro has this thing where he like looks at something in the corner and he just starts out like he slowly gradually starts to get more and more upset, and then he just gets upset about it, and we're like, there's nothing there, Taro, but it's like there's something there.
Huh. Interesting.
And he seems
okay,
like
so that's
ticked off. He seems like he's being like messed with in some way.
right. Right.
So,
Well, that's okay. So that's one. So Mom had another night terror incident that the dog was involved with, and
yes.
then
And then Taro has his own issues, unfortunately.
with ghosts.
Yeah, with ghosts. He just sees ghosts.
Okay.
Taro's been blessed with the gift.
Right. Right. Yes. The
Tater
sensitivity.
doesn't have that sensitivity whatsoever. He doesn't care. He doesn't see anything. Coco also just like doesn't see anything, but Coco also is blind, so
Right.
but Taro, yeah, has this weird thing. Always feels spooky when he does it too. It's just like ooh.
That is interesting.
Yeah, and then I had a nightmare where Sky had to wake me up in the middle of the night. This is the second time that this has happened because he's had to wake me up from another dream before where I was talking and I screamed. But But this one, we were driving on the freeway, and there was a boy, like a kid, maybe like 12 years old, walking, and you just saw like the back of his head. And Sky was like, "Oh my God, Jenna, pull over, we have to help him." But I got this feeling. I was like, "No, I'm sorry, I'm not pulling over." So I just zoomed past him, and Sky was like, "What? We have to help him. We have to help that kid." And the kid is like coming up again. And I was like, "Oh, I know that if I look over, I'm going to see something that I don't want to see." So I shielded my eyes. And as we passed him again, Sky was like, "Oh, hey." And then he was like, and then he gasped. And then he was like, "Oh my gosh." He was like, "That kid, he had no tongue in his face. His mouth was wide open, but he had no tongue." And he was like greenish and like scary looking. Well, I guess there's stoplights on the freeway because then we got to a stoplight and I was like, "Oh no. Oh no." And the kid starts walking up beside our car. And I'm like, I know that he's about to come up to our car window. And I'm like, "No, no." And I start screaming. I'm like, "No." And apparently I was screaming in real life. So Sky had to wake me up. And I was like, I was like, "Oh my gosh, there was a boy. There was a boy." And then the next couple days, I think it was like a day or two after, Sky and I were walking to Vaughn's. And there's this apartment complex right here. The Vaughn's is ahead of us, and we're walking. There's this apartment here. And at this apartment, there are stairs. Like, this is it, right? And there's stairs here. But the way that the stairs are placed, I don't know how this man was, like, standing where he was standing. But there was a man there. And I saw him in my peripheral vision. But something told me that, oh, he's not really there. So when I turn to look at him, he won't be there. But I turned to look, and there was a man there. And I jumped, and I went, "Oh my gosh." And I started laughing really hard. But the man didn't react or anything. He just stood there, standing stoically with his hands by his sides. Didn't change his facial expression even while I was laughing, even when I screamed and I thought I would startle him. I even apologized. And Sky was freaking out because he was like, what? And he was like looking back and forth at me. He was like, what's wrong? And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I didn't see the man there." He's like, "There's no man there." I was like, "Yeah, there is. The man is right there." And this man was wearing a brown suit, and he had like Albert Einstein gray looking hair and a mustache, but he looked like Albert Einstein if Albert Einstein was like skinny. But you would think that a man who was doing this would be like smoking or something, or just out there. I don't know. Maybe he was like just like getting airtime, getting his, sunlight.
Yeah.
But the weird thing
Vitamin D.
He didn't change. He didn't do
No reaction.
No reaction. You would imagine that if I screamed or something, that he would have looked over and like laughed or like, I don't know, been like, oh, startled, or like, I don't know, or been angry. Some sort of reaction. No reaction. Nothing. And we just kept walking. And then I was very confused and flustered. And I saw my very first ghost.
Wait, so that's the first? Oh, I guess you mean like, okay.
I've never visually seen a ghost. Visually. Yeah. People talk about how they've seen ghosts, seen people clear as day. And I'm like, I've never experienced. I have felt a ghost's presence. I have experienced ghostly things. I've been touched by ghosts. When we went to a funeral once, I felt a hand touch my head. Because you know what these things feel like. You know what it's like to have someone touch your head. No one touched my head, but someone did. And then I smelled our grandpa on Dad's suit. And then I was like, "Dad, wow." And as soon as we left the church, I smelled his suit again. No smell. And that's how I'd know that our grandpa was present. But yes, that. And then also when I went to Disneyland the other day, I had a jacket over my shoulder. And I felt, and I knew no one touched me because I could see. I felt the sleeve lift up and then be placed down again. And I knew that I didn't move. And it was the feeling of someone lifting up my jacket and moving it. but nobody did it. And I was like, oh, and that's not the wind. It wasn't like a brushing motion. It was a deliberate pick up and place down.
Interesting. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, you guys are getting a lot of activity. That is interesting.
Yes, the ghosts are around. They are here and they want to be known. And Jared also. Well, because before this, Jared was saying like, oh, my ghost leaves me alone now. My ghost just gifts me free parking spaces and the ability to surpass wait times at restaurants. He's like, that's my new thing, is when I go to a restaurant, I don't have to wait to like be seated. I can be seated right away. And I can also find parking spots easily. And he's like, so I'm not bothered. And then like a day after that, we have our new shower with like a hook that holds a squeegee.
Yeah.
And so the squeegee, in order to lift it up, the hooks are like this. You have to lift it up. Well, it lifted up and fell over on its own.
Okay.
While Jared was showering. And then Jared looked over and he was like, oh, man. And I even went over. I was like, Jared, it probably just like, fell over. He's like, no, go see. So then I was like trying to, use light force, like just seeing like if a wind or something could knock it over. You do have to pick it up in order to take it off. So. Yeah.
That is, I did use it the last time I was there, so I know.
Oh, yeah, you can't
not that easy to do.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I don't know what you guys need to do, but I guess you guys have to try to, I don't know, purge the house again or something.
Maybe we need to bless the house again, because you know what Dad told me? He said that blessings expire.
Yeah, okay, so as dumb as that sounds, I also kind of believe that that's possible. Like, that is possible.
That only for 7 years?
Well, no, I don't know what the time is, but I could see, because in my head, the way it works is like, it's like water evaporating. It's like particles evaporating. That's how I see it. Yeah,
it's not like a forever blessing. Like, yeah. And also negative energies and positive energies, but are like being brought into the house, and how does one get them to leave?
Yeah, I could see the expiration is possible.
Yeah.
So maybe it's time.
Yeah. Well, that's good that you're not being haunted.
No, hopefully now that we've talked about it, nothing happens still for us. But
you guys had the crayon situation though, right?
Yeah, and we still don't know the explanation for it because I found a few more colors. So I guess we had never told this, but since we moved in, what we found is that there's like weird markings of color on the wall, like they look just like streaks of crayon. But we can't rub them off for some reason, and we don't have crayons in the house, so it doesn't really make sense. It's like clear colors. It's like we have a very tan paint color for our walls, on most of the walls, and it's very like obvious, like just crayon green, yellow. I saw an orange streak the other day, but I just don't really know where it would be coming from, so it doesn't make sense to me.
My only theory, because I have like black streaks, like almost crayon-esque marks on my walls, and that's just because like when I carry my tripod or something and I hit it against the wall, it creates that streak. Or I have this vinyl record. I just did it. And I was like, oh man, I got a new black mark on my wall. But yeah, I think it would just depend on if you have like orange colored furniture or like yellow or green furniture that could have potentially like marked it.
That's the thing. We don't really have anything green, yellow, or orange. My theory was that like, because we do have like different tennis balls that we throw upstairs for our dog, but it doesn't really add up because I just don't see how the ball could make that kind of a mark. But it's possible, I guess. I don't know. Like I said, it's really weird, and the height is always so different for all of the different market. Like the markings are so random. There's no pattern. It's not like at the same level. It's not. There's just like one up here, two down here, one over here. So
Right.
it's weird, but
And
that's the only unexplainable thing.
you guys are the first people to live in this house.
Yeah, brand new house, so it doesn't really make any sense.
Right.
And like I said, we don't own crayons, but and we don't have furniture. Like I thought about that too. Is there anything we could have like rubbed up against the wall? No, not really. The only thing that really hits because we're very careful and we don't move stuff around at all. So the only thing it could be is the tennis ball that we know, like sometimes you throw it, it bounces off the wall, but then like there's the way it works is the hallway. So we like have a long-ish hallway. We'll throw the ball and open the door to the other room that's at the end. And I chuck the ball really hard into that room. There's no markings in the other room where the ball is actively hitting it's actively hitting the wall every time, right? I'm throwing it so that it bounces off the wall and it goes everywhere. It doesn't mark up that wall. So it's weird.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Unsolved mystery.
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting.
But, I'll keep an eye on that. What else has been going on? Anything?
I started improv classes.
Okay, right. Yeah, you were saying that last time.
Yes, and those are really fun. The way I think of it every single time I'm there is like we're in elementary school at recess making up games, and the only difference is that we're being like judged on it by a teacher.
Right.
Those are basically the games that we're doing. It's just it feels like we're playing pretend and just here are the rules of the game, and you just gotta do that, and that's been really fun. Like we did a movie poster game where 3 people they move around for 5 seconds to create an image, and then there's another person here and they're gonna be the narrator, and they can't see within those 5 seconds what the people come up with, and then it's your job as the narrator to go, all right, coming soon to Netflix, this 2023 summertime, the best movie of the century. And then you turn around and you see the 3 people's like image, and then you have to come up with a movie title. And it's like, for me, it was this girl who was in the middle, and she had her arms up like this, and then 2 guys on the side holding onto her legs, like crying and like looking up. And then I was like, coming soon to Netflix, Mom, please don't leave us. And then yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
And then I had to come up with like a whole storyline, and so I was like, the hottest new movie, Mom, please don't leave us, where a mom deep in the woods of Alabama a mom decides to leave her 2 kids behind to pursue a career in Hollywood as an actress because she decides her kids aren't worth staying there for. So she left them on the front porch with a can of tuna and a bottle of apple juice.
Wow.
And then you have to come up with like the characters' names and who they're played by. So it's like, we've got Cynthia played by Nicole Kidman. We've got Wanky Panky played by Tobey Maguire, and the last child, Shirley Temple, played by none other than Steven Yeun.
What?
Mom, please don't leave us, coming this summer. And then you have to give like a little motto, and I was like, we don't even like tuna. And that was what I came up with. My critique for that was to use real names. My teacher was like, what are your brothers' names? I was like, Jared and Jack. And he was like, why didn't you just use that? Why'd you come up with Pee-Pee Tinkle? And like,
yeah, right.
And then,
I mean, I guess.
It's because my brain just naturally wants to go there. It doesn't want to come up with normal names.
A
so
real
I think
name.
that is like my biggest weakness so far in the class is I want to come up with wacky things, but that's not what we're learning at this school. At the school, we're trying to come up with like wacky characters for ourselves, but normal life plots.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas at another school, the Upright Citizens Brigade, they focus on normal people in strange situations.
Okay.
And wacky plot lines. So, yeah, at this one, I have a tendency to make weird characters and weird plot lines.
Right.
So I gotta figure out how to make like more normal. For that game specifically, that's fine. But in terms of my actual scene work, I have to work on like being more real.
Sure. Yeah. The game sounds a lot like, or not like a lot like it, but it just, the way you're describing it and having to come up with like scenarios and slogans and catchphrases reminds me of Jackbox and the joke writing
Oh
Jackbox.
yeah, it does remind me of Jackbox, or it reminds me of Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah, or that too. That's a good one.
Oh, a part of our requirement is to watch 2 improv shows at the school or at their theater, and they sell out every night because it's like a popular thing to go watch the Groundlings perform. And the guest performer was there we go. Sorry, his name was escaping my mind. Gary Anthony Williams, and he is like a guest performer on Whose Line Is It Anyway?
I feel like I know the name, so I would just have to see the face.
Yes, he was really good. I was so excited because I love that show. I'll cut this out. He's the other black guy who isn't Wayne Brady.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. Gary Anthony Williams. Oh, it just came to you.
Yeah.
Yes. There you go. I didn't have to say any sort of details for you to figure it out. You got there on your own.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I think it's funny that you say like, oh yeah, it's like they sell it all the time, but I feel like a lot of improv has been known to just like sell out. I mean,
it's popular.
Even it's just one of those fun things that you can always find an improv show near you or something like that too, and they always sell out. I remember we had like an improv group in college, and we went to a bunch of shows, and it was always packed. So it makes sense. It's just like, I think it's a very because of people know how challenging it is. Like, even if they've never done it, there's just like the relatability of like, wow, you have to just make stuff up on the spot. And I think like, you know how tough of a situation that would be. So like,
yeah,
but you get to see people that are good at it do it. So it's like fun to watch.
Right. And you also get to watch them struggle at it too, which also makes it funny.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because there's no perfect improv. Like,
no.
And that's what has helped me a lot too with getting through it, is realizing, oh, every time I go up there, it's not going to be perfect. So just do something, come up with something. It's hard. It's very hard, but it's fun.
Did we make you watch on Netflix the
Middleditch and Schwartz?
Yes.
It's so funny. Yeah, I love Middleditch and Schwartz. Good. That is long form improv though, so they have to go hard. For an hour.
That is so hard.
That's just playing pretend for an hour, except you have to keep track of everything that you've done.
Ever done.
Yeah.
In that last hour. Yeah. It's insane. Oh yeah. I forgot what I was watching, but I saw Ben Schwartz in some like YouTube interview recently. Yeah. And I was like, oh man, I want to see it. I want to watch his show again, but yeah.
They're so good.
Come up with more.
Yeah, I do like watching them. And I do, like, sometimes I'll just rewatch it even though I know what happens in it, because it's fun just to watch them go through the process again.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll watch some of it after this.
Nice.
Yes. Anything else you want to update us on or anything?
No, I don't think so. Are there any tips of the week or anything like that you have for the listeners?
Tip of the week. I forget what I was going to call it. Let's just call it the tip of the week.
Yeah, I don't remember what we called it.
Tip of the week is to just keep going. just keep living life. I think for a while I was constantly living to get to the next big event sort of thing. Like, oh, I'm waiting and waiting and waiting until this checkpoint happens, and waiting and waiting and waiting until that checkpoint happens. And now I'm at a point where, oh, I can't keep waiting for the checkpoints to happen. I just need to keep living my life, and the checkpoints will pop up.
Yeah. Sure. That makes sense.
So just keep living your life. Keep coming up with stuff. Don't wait for things to happen. Just make them happen. Or just keep busy, because doing nothing, you're just going to attract nothing. But when you're constantly busy, you're constantly attracting things to happen into your life.
Yeah, that's a good one. That makes sense.
Nice.
Yeah, I think yeah, what was I going to say? Oh, I think being busy is one of those hard things where it's hard to balance the difference between being busy and like being like overwhelmed too. And just knowing what that balance looks like and finding ways to set the boundaries and find that comfortable balance of busy. Because yeah, I agree. I think being busy is a good thing, but a lot of people can easily become overwhelmed. So
yeah, it's easy to get overwhelmed. I mean, I got overwhelmed from my whole weekend leading up to now, because I was just doing so much and interacting with so many people that I finally reached that, like, I don't think I've ever reached my limit in terms of being extroverted.
Oh, social battery.
Social battery, yeah. I've never had that happen before, because I am a very extroverted person and I like being around people. But a couple days ago, we had to hang out with more family, and Dad told me that I was just blah. That I just sat there and I wasn't doing anything. And usually I don't want to do that because I don't want to be perceived as rude, but I really reached my limit to the point where I couldn't even force it. I couldn't pretend to, like, really be engaged because I was just at zero. So, yeah, it's all about finding the balance of being busy but not letting yourself get too overwhelmed or overworked.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it is tough. I mean, usually I think once you do, like, now that you've had that experience, like knowing exactly how many things it takes to drain the social battery, now that you know that, you can kind of like take that into account when you're planning stuff too. Like, okay,
Yeah.
well, I know that this is going to be extremely exhausting, and then I can probably fit in 2 more events and then I'm going to be good. Or, you know, that way that you can really try to balance everything. Because I think I'm more on the opposite side of, like, usually just the interaction that I get at work in person now that I go in pretty often is like, we've struck this, like, I mean, it's company policy at this point, but it's like you're supposed to go into the office 3 days a week. And so those 3 days are like just enough to get me like right on the verge of, like, if I had to go in a 4th day, I'd be tired of like dealing with people. So, yeah, I think the battery, if you will, can adjust, obviously, like, you know, a little bit, but most people have like a general threshold. But
right. Yeah. Well, it's odd because I think it also isn't just like it's not a mental thing. It actually becomes like a physical thing. Because yesterday, as I was driving home from LA, I got to like the Anaheim checkpoint, and for the first time, because I've nodded off a bit while driving, you know, just being tired, like you kind of go like that. This is the first time where I felt my arms, my legs, and my head and my whole body drop while driving, and the wheel just went whoop whoop, and I grabbed it, but it was because it was so instantaneous, it scared me really bad, so I grabbed it and I was like, I'm going to a Starbucks. I gotta pull over. I can't do this.
Yeah.
I'm too tired. So
yeah, no, It's pretty wild, like what can happen and what your body can tell you. So
when you're exhausted.
It is very important to just listen to your body, and just like if you need to take a break from whatever you have going on. I think the other thing too is just really stating that out loud to others when you're feeling that way is pretty important, so that they just know, like you said, you're not trying to be rude. It's just like you literally are on fumes, like trying your best to even be like keep your eyes open and not be like actually dead. So
yeah,
yeah,
for sure. Well, that was a good tip of the week combined into 3 like different tips.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, and I think that brings us to a close in our 4th podcast episode.
Yeah, that sounds good. Well, yeah, we have been recording for a good amount of time, so thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Definitely leave us some comments down below on what you think about aliens, ghosts, anything like that, conspiracy theories, and if there's any other topics you want us to cover. As always, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.
Woo! Peace.